Hi, it's Ellen Violette here, and today I am going to talk about the 7 mistakes that people make creating a course and how to avoid them. And this was one of the first things that I started doing early in my career when I got on the internet in 2004. I did a couple of workshops and I immediately turned them into home study courses. So since then I've done 7 or 8 more major ones, and 1 or 2 of them are still available. One of them I just sold the other day that I did 12 years ago. So having courses is a really great thing to do if you're a coach or an executive consultant or a consultant, and even if you're a speaker or whatever, as long as you have a message and something to help people with, it's a great thing to do. But there are several mistakes that people make when they do this, and that's what I want to go over today. So number 1 is they don't do the research to make sure that people want what it is that you want to teach them. So sometimes we get an idea in our head. I'm trying to get onto the Facebook page. But we get an idea in our head that there's something that we want to teach, and so we just say, okay, I'm going to do this, and we don't look to see if that's something that people want. Now, when you do a workshop first, like I did, what happens is that people tell you, what they want, but there are other ways to get it. You can get it by just asking people before you create the home study course. Some people don't want to give it live. But anyway, so that's the first thing, is you want to make sure that it's something that people want. You have to figure out, how you're going to figure that out. The next one is people don't pre-sell the course. So, you could spend months working on a course and then put it out there and find out nobody wants it. So if you pre-sell it first, then you know that it's something that people want. So that's something you definitely want to consider doing. Also, sometimes you might think it's the course that people don't want, but maybe it's the title. Maybe you gave the wrong title, and that's another one of the mistakes, is not giving it the right title. But, by creating a sales page and by pre-selling it, you can split test and you can try different titles. So that's another thing that you might want to do. The next one is you get too attached to your idea, and so even though you've done the research, you don't listen to what the market tells you. And I have seen this happen so many times where with my clients, not so much with courses but with books, but it's the same thing, which is, we do the marketing research, and the market tells us that what they want to do isn't what the market wants, and then they'll say to me, I know it's what my market wants, and then they'll go and put it out anyway. And then I've had this happen where somebody came back to me 6 months later and said, you know what, Ellen, you were right, and it didn't work. And I said, well, I told you it didn't work, but you didn't believe me. So I wouldn't try to second guess the market. If the market tells you it's not interested, believe them when they tell you that, and be willing to make the changes that you need to make in order to make it work. Let's see, the next one, oh boy, I did this one. The next one is making it too long, and so it's overwhelming and it's stressful for you to create. So I did that. When I first started, I had my 3 days to ebook cash workshop that I turned into a home study course, and I had a marketing course that I no longer sell because it doesn't work anymore. I have 2 new ones that have replaced it instead. So now I have the bestseller launch, ebook launch program, and the ebook marketing mastery program. But back then it was the ebook profit secrets course, and it was 12 modules. And creating 12 modules is a lot for a course, especially when it's, one of the first ones that you've ever done. And so it would have been a lot better if I had not done that, or if I had realized how much work it was going to be, maybe lowered the price and not put as much information in there. Something different, it needed to not be so long and stressful, but it was. And I can remember laying out the pages on the floor and having all this information and not knowing what to do with it, not knowing where to put stuff, being really stressed out. And it was not fun. It was not fun, and it took me a really long time to put it together. I suggest making an outline instead, much more helpful. And also, when putting too much information in your courses overwhelms your clients. And when people are customers, and when people are overwhelmed, they don't like it, and it's stressful for them, and they're going to give up. So I actually was just talking to a colleague of mine not that long ago, and he was telling me how, he had just put together his first course, and he was revamping it because the feedback he got was there was just too much in there, it was too long, it was too involved. And sometimes, what you can do instead, which works really well, is, make it more basic and then have a more advanced course after that one. So, sometimes you just have too much in one course, and you don't want to do that. And then the next one, as I said, was give it the right name, give it a good name. If people don't connect with it, if it doesn't excite them, they're not going to do it. When I first created my 3 Days to eBook Cash workshop, it was not called that. But in those days, I didn't know to check with my audience or to see what connected with them. So that first one was called the Quick Start 3-Day Authoring Workshop. So we changed it because that didn't connect with them as well. I mean, I sold it right out of the gate, but it changed over time. And then not setting it up right. So in other words, if you create a home study program, but you don't, first of all, give people in it what they want, different ways of learning, number one, but also for yourself, automating it. So when you automate it, it's less work for you, and you can sell it over and over, and people get the full value out of it. So that's another thing you don't want to do. So again, not doing the marketing research and finding out what people want is number one. Number two is not pre-selling it, so you don't know if it's working or not, if people are connecting, and if it's worth going ahead and doing it. And of course, you should split test your pieces if it's not working. And even if it is working, if you want to increase your conversion rate, you should still do that. Make sure it's not too long, because it's overwhelming and stressful for you putting it together, and it's also overwhelming and stressful for your customers to go through it, and it might actually be better to be in more than one course. Putting too much content in it, as I said, so it's overwhelming. Not giving it a really great title so that it connects to your audience and they get excited about it, and then not setting it up right for you so that it's too much work. But also you need to set it up right for your clients too. So, I mean, these days, personal attention is really important too, so you might want to add a Q&A section to it, or a once a month type of deal, or weekly, or if you're giving it as a short term, but they still have modules that they go through by themselves. So there's lots of different ways to set them up. But anyway, I'm going to be having a free webinar on this, and I will put the URL above this, I guess it will be, and you'll be able to go and see it. So that's it for today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.